music with my bro. Will it dig it? Yes or no? Here we go on with the show, the Hear Me Out Bro podcast.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to episode 4 of the Hear Me Out Bro podcast. My name's Clark. I'd like to introduce my brother, Eric.
Deerwitch.
Deerwitch? Is that like a type of sandwich?
I think so.
Is that how the disembodied female voice on Google told you how to pronounce that?
No, there's like actual Irish people tell me how to say it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
Or at least I think they were Irish people.
apologies in advance. We will not try to pronounce any more Gaelic. No more native Irish. We are not Irish. We're not from Ireland. We just love Irish music.
Yes.
So our playlist for this episode is available on YouTube. If you search for @HMOBP, find all the playlists, including this one. You can also email us if you have any questions or suggestions or comments that you want to get directly to us at hearmeoutbropodcast@gmail.com.
All one word, all lowercase.
Yep.
Hear Me Out Bro podcast.
And we begin a few episode downloads. So hopefully people are liking it. And if you like it, we would really appreciate it if you'd share it with people that you love. Yeah, pass the word along. Leave us a review on wherever you catch our podcast. And if you feel like supporting us directly, we have a Patreon. On Patreon, we are Hear Me Out Bro podcast. Yeah, we have a couple tiers. For $1 a month, that's like the tip jar, letting us know we're doing a good job and you like what you're hearing.
We really appreciate it.
Definitely. And for $5 a month, we'll send you a link for when we record the episodes. Send you a link to the Discord server, and you get to hear the songs along with us, and you get to hear all the flubs.
Yeah, you can join us live and hang out and enjoy it as we record it.
Yeah.
We've been rating all of our songs. And the reason we're doing that is because at the end of the year, we're do like our top 10 songs that we've covered for the year. And the way we rate them, we use the American Bandstand's Rate a Record system. And that goes from 35 to 98. 98 because there's no such thing as a perfect song. And starting at 35 because if you go through the trouble of recording a record, then you deserve some participation points. So that's the reason we rate the songs, just to track them. We have a spreadsheet where we're keeping track of all the scores from all the various episodes.
So this week, we are delving into the music of the Emerald Isle, bands from Ireland.
And we're talking about the Isle. We're not differentiating. Well, we will differentiate, but there's Northern Ireland, which is part of the UK, and there's the Republic of Ireland, which is all the rest of the country. But we're not really differentiating, and we're not choosing sides in this. We're just sharing our favorite music from the island.
Well, you're not choosing sides. It's one island.
Right.
I'll get into where my leanings are in the songs I chose for the playlist.
Okay. I was just trying to stay neutral. Yeah, I'm going to stay neutral for now.
I'm decidedly not neutral.
My position might change through the course of the...
Maybe this is a convincer episode.
It could be a convincer episode. I don't need much convincing, though, because... yeah. Okay. So, we'll get into that as we go along.
I'll convince you to dislike the foxy English as much as I do. Not that there's anything wrong with being English, but if you were an English lord 400 years ago, Like there aren't enough pegs to take you down.
Well, and the reason I'm staying neutral is because I don't like to hear foreign people talk about U.S. politics because it like makes me. I don't have any hair. Like all my hair, I pulled out. Hearing other people talk about who represents us and this and that, because no one represents me in this country. And
Fair.
yeah, if there was anarchy in the UK, would that include Northern Ireland? Asking for a friend.
Yeah, I think Northern Ireland is technically part of the UK.
Yeah.
The Isle of Man is like a weird, like I looked into what it would take to emigrate to the Isle of Man, and
Uh-huh.
it's crazy. It's like a little bit Irish. It's UK, but not really UK. It's EU, but like it has like this overlap where it's kind of like the lawless border region between everything.
Did I
Just
ever
weird.
tell you my retirement dream?
No.
To have like a bed and breakfast, like hostel kind of thing on the Isle of Man.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we
And
did talk about this.
yeah, people could like stay and watch the TT and
Right.
then also have like a fleet of rental motorcycles. So like people could come and stay and then they could like rent a motorcycle to ride around the island in the off season.
Nice. Will one of the rental motorcycles be made of Meccano?
No.
No. You won't have an erector set motorcycle? Because
No.
that's my dream. Except
Oh,
James
really?
Mayer already did it.
Oh man. I'll have to watch that episode.
Yeah, it's harrowing.
Well, I guess we're just jumping right into it, huh?
Yeah.
This first band is from Derry, which is in Northern Ireland.
Right on the border though. And you've already chosen a side, or what you called it.
So my first pick is The Undertones with Teenage Kicks. All right,
Nice.
Undertones with Teenage Kicks. So they started like kind of right during the peak of the Troubles.
Right.
And there's two ways to deal with troubles: have fun and carry on, or lean into them and face them. And these guys just chose to have fun. They were teenagers, so they're like, it seems silly we're teenagers, we're going to sing about girls. So that's how they chose to kind of navigate all that. These guys were all Catholics, and that's not meaning that's where they go to church, but they were Catholics. So
Right.
in Northern Ireland, they were considered kind of second class citizens. It's hard to get a job, hard to, you don't have the same advantages as a Protestant in Northern Ireland.
I thought you weren't choosing sides.
I'm not choosing sides. I'm just explaining what was going on there.
Explaining 500 years of oppression.
Right.
But yeah, we're not a history podcast or a political podcast.
That's true. That's true.
Like you can't decouple Irish music from Irish history.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, you two did, but only after they stopped being good.
After they became globalists. Oh,
yes.
Sorry, I'll edit that part out. So they didn't want to sing overtly political songs.
Fair enough.
They got exposure. They went on tour with the Clash and were the opening band for part of one of the Clash's world tours. So they got exposure from that, but they were just like a local Catholic band from Northern Ireland. And one more thing about this song in particular, I just like it because it's like happy, and it does show like one side of how to deal with stuff is like,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to be in it anyways. why let it consume your like every facet of your life?
Right.
There's like one of the big DJs on BBC. He started as a DJ in the United States and then went back to England and was a DJ in a lot of different radio stations, but he ended up on the BBC. And this guy broke so many bands, you know, during like the new wave and the punk rock stuff and like introducing new bands to all of the UK. And that was John Peel. And this was his favorite song. And he played it twice in a row one time on the radio because he just liked it so much. And then when he passed away, they played it at his funeral. And a lot of the guys in the band here like went to his funeral and they had that song playing at his funeral. So
very cool.
Yeah, if you know John Peel and like his history, like for him to consider this his favorite song like ever is kind of cool in a way.
Right.
So have you ever heard the Undertones before?
No, I've never listened to the Undertones. I'd never heard of them before. Yeah, I liked them. They had kind of a like not quite punk, like just straightforward rock sound.
Yeah.
I like the guy's voice too.
Yeah,
Like he's got that
unique
kind of warble in there.
Yeah. Yeah, in Derry, like there's one punk rock club there and it's called the Casbah.
Nice.
And I thought that's what the Clash song was about because these guys went on tour with the Clash. But these guys invited the Clash to come play in Derry. And I guess somebody sent Joe Strummer death threats or something. So they the Clash never rocked that particular Casbah. Or maybe they did in later years, but not when the Undertones invited them to come play in Derry.
Yeah, well, when somebody gives you death threats.
Yeah.
Understandable.
During peak troubles.
Yeah.
So should we give these guys a score?
Yeah, I'll give it a 67.
67. Okay. I'm going to give it like a 78. Because I don't know, I'm kind of immature, so like I still relate to songs about teenagers.
Right.
That could almost be a genre for me.
Yeah, fair enough. That could be one of our convincer episodes.
Oh, to listen to teenage songs?
Yeah. Yeah, so in my mind, like when I close my eyes and I'm dreaming of Ireland, there are two bands that come to my ears. The Dubliners, of course. I've got two Dubliners songs on the playlist because I had to. The other band, which everybody should already like, if you don't, listen to them. Just listen to them. You'll like them eventually. If you have yet to like the Pogues, listen to the Pogues. So this is Navigator by the Pogues. They have a million songs, so many great selections, but I really like this song. Yeah, I'm a sucker for the mandolin and the banjo.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for the mandolin.
Not so much the banjo.
You know what ukuleles are good for? They make good kindling to start a banjo fire.
Wow.
I have a hard time hearing banjo in 3/4 time without thinking of Kermit the Frog singing Rainbow Connection.
You're saying that like it's a bad thing.
True.
That song's beautiful, especially when it's sung by a guy with his arm up in the air.
Yeah. No, that's a good song. It's like it totally sets a mood, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I like it, because like, it's not one of their drinking songs. It's a little bit different, and it just, like, it has that nice, just kinda steady flow to it, and
Yeah.
if you're drunk late at night on a wet street, like, shouting, "Navigator, navigator, rise up and be strong."
Oh man.
Like, it's the perfect thing to sing when you're, like, drunk on a wet, empty street late at night.
Yeah. Before I retired, I spent like most of my life in that headspace of just like having to pick up the pick and the axe and stuff. And
Oh, yeah, I know that feeling.
it's very relatable. So, anything else you want to share about that song? Is there any background to it, or
No, I'll just let the song rest on its own. It's
okay?
not one of their big songs, but it's one that I particularly like.
Yeah, and they definitely belong on the list. I mean, how could you not like love those guys?
Yeah.
And this is your first song, right, on the list.
Mhm.
It's like such the cool introduction to like Irish music.
Right. I'm kind of 2 minds, because it's kinda like when you go see a band that had, like, some real heavy hitter songs, like, 20 years ago,
Uh-huh.
but they're still putting out albums, and they've changed their sound, and they've kinda gone in a different direction. You go see them live, they're on tour supporting their new album, and it's like, it's a statement if they don't play their old stuff, because it's like, come on,
Right, right.
like, they have to recognize that, like, well, they wouldn't make the album they just made without the success of the albums they had in their past, like those hit songs they had on their past.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like all Irish bands have a shared discography. If you don't play at least one trad song, you're making a statement.
Yeah, that's true.
Come on, play Wild Rover.
Yeah, there is something to appreciating your audience by sharing with the audience like what the audience wants and what they came to see you for too.
Right.
Also, I think just for a point of clarification, this is about bands from Ireland. We're not just talking about Irish music. We're talking about bands from Ireland itself. We're not talking about because Irish music, you know, happens in other places too. But
Right.
for our list, we are just including bands that are actually came from Ireland
Right.
and not necessarily
Yeah.
Irish music, but Irish bands. But it is Irish music, I guess, in a way.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, in the same way that, not every American band is a country act.
right.
Yeah, I do appreciate bands that are like, yeah, we're a rock band or a punk band. Maybe it's because to pay off their drum set, they played a bunch of weddings. And in order to play at weddings, you got to play the traditional stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
It could be something like that. So I always like it when a band throws at least one super trad song in.
Nice.
So
So do we want to rate this one?
sure. I'm gonna give it a 75. I would go higher, but it's not necessarily one of the songs that I listen to when I close my eyes and think of the Pogues, but it is a song of theirs that I really like. Yeah, maybe I'll go higher. Because I mean, this is the first song I thought of when I did think of the Pogues, so I guess I contradicted myself. I'll say 80.
Okay. I'll give it a 78. I'm not a huge banjo fan. It just the sound of it.
I like it.
But I'll give it a 78 because I really do like the Pogues, and it's a good song. Like when I was listening to it, it kind of like brought me to a mind space that I could relate to.
Yeah, and it's like I know nothing about time signatures, but like that tempo of a song, especially when it's done like pretty strong, it feels like you're in a boat floating down a river,
Yeah.
which makes me think that might be why you don't like banjos because of that canoe trip.
Oh, that canoe trip I went on. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. Bit of trauma there, but
understandable.
that could be the reason. I think we've made a breakthrough today, Dr. Ross.
Well, I'm afraid that's all the time we have.
So, I mean, we should move on to the next song.
I think so. All right. Do you want to introduce this one? Does this one need an introduction?
Oh man. Yeah, I'm just gonna. This is Thin Lizzy with the Cowboy Song. Oh man. The coyote call. Oh
Yeah.
man.
Such a good song. Yeah. And again, like, there are a dozen Thin Lizzy songs that are like, this feels similar to my Pogues pick, but
Uh-huh.
it's like, it's not Boys Are Back in Town or Jailbreak or Whiskey in the Jar,
Yeah.
but it's like, yeah, that song is fantastic.
Yeah, like I mean, it just happens to be an Irish band, but I mean, that's like up there one of my favorite songs of all time. Like talking about John
sure.
Peel playing Teenage Kicks twice in a row on the radio. Like I could listen to that
Mhm.
song like on loop
Oh, for sure.
because, like, I don't know, I'm a wannabe hard rock guitarist, and I'm also a wannabe cowboy.
Uh-huh.
And that's like the intersection of what I think is cool.
And there's probably not a dude alive who's ever tried to sing that didn't wish he could sing like Phil. Like,
Everybody wanted to
that guy
play
has
with him.
a perfect voice.
Yeah. I heard somebody talking about them once, and they said it's the Irish thing is to be able to tell a story.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's what he does in all their songs.
Yeah.
And it's to put that to like hard rock like that with the twin guitars.
Yeah. He's telling a story, but it's not like, okay, just get to the chorus, like
Right.
get to the hook. It's like you're there with him. Like you're following along. Like he scoops you up and like throws you on the back of the horse with him. You're riding along with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I can just picture, sitting there at the campfire, out on the prairie. And yeah, it's like every cowboy movie mixed with like Les Pauls through Marshalls,
Yep.
harmonizing minor thirds. Oh, man. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah. And like the way they bring it down and then it just kicks into those guitar solos. Like it's like lighting the fuse on a firecracker.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like the perfect setup. It's like the softball pitch that you can just like smack it over the fence.
Yep. Nice.
Oh man. Cowboy song. So yeah, that song is from Jailbreak. That whole album's just dynamite.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm not knocking Jailbreak or even Boys Are Back in Town.
Yeah.
Like I love every there. I don't think I've heard a Thin Lizzy song that I don't like.
I like this song better than Boys Are Back in Town.
Yeah, that one, it's a little cheesy, but it's,
Yeah.
it fits right in there with that Eye of the Tiger vibe.
Right.
Like it kind of has that like city like grittiness. But yeah, cowboy song is just wide open ranges, and
I've been a boy back in town, you know,
that's true.
at times, and
Mhm.
and that song came to mind.
Yeah,
And I've also been out on the lone prairie around the campfire with my cowboy hat on, out for work,
that's true.
doing cowboy stuff. I love them both.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's not too much to talk about with that one. It's just, man.
Yeah, listen to Thin Lizzy.
Yeah.
They're one of the greatest bands of all time.
And there will be a Thin Lizzy episode we'll do one for sure. Because, yeah, they're excellent.
Yeah. And I jumped the gun on the last song. I apologize because I rated it first.
So, am I going to rate this first?
Yeah, to make it fair, I guess.
98. No question. No problem. I question the 98 rating system at this point because I'd give it 100 if I could.
Flat.
It's not my funeral song, but it's the rest of my life. I could play it on loop and just like those guitar solos would get me every
Oh,
time. Yeah. Yeah. 98.
I'm going to give it a 97
Okay.
for one reason. Because when we do, I'm locking this in. When we do the Thin Lizzy episode, Cold Sweat is my 98.
Okay.
Just so Cold Sweat can be
There's room.
my 98, my Thin Lizzy 98. Yeah.
Leave a little bit of headroom.
Yeah, the drums on Cold Sweat.
Oh man.
Yeah, just that. Oh man, it's so good.
Yeah.
Okay, but we're not talking about Cold Sweat. We're talking about Cowboy Song. 97, solid 97.
Sweet. All right. Thin Lizzy. Yeah. Oh man. And they
Man,
just happened to be from Ireland. They could have been from anywhere. I would have loved
yeah,
them. They just happened to come from the Emerald Isle.
yeah. I listened to them for probably decades. I'd hear them on the radio and stuff, and then like never knew they were an Irish band.
Ah, cool. So what do we got up next?
These guys, the first time I ever heard them, there was no question where they were from. So this is the Dubliners with the Rocky Road to Dublin. Yeah, more banjo, sorry.
That's okay. That one was more rhythmic and it was kind of going with the Irish fiddle stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, like my wife was trying to learn Irish fiddle and like I was watching some videos to like try and find good ones for her and stuff and it's so complex.
Oh yeah.
There's like a video out there, this classical violinist went to Ireland. I can't remember the guy's name, but he wanted to learn traditional Irish fiddle. And, he was like total like Juilliard kind of guy or whatever. And it was just too complicated and just, he just couldn't get it down.
Yeah, and his instructor was having like a one-way conversation with Ronnie Drew's Force Ghost. Ronnie Drew's Force Ghost was saying, he's too old to begin the training.
Oh, man.
It's like you have to be a wee lad to start learning Irish fiddle.
Yeah, you have to grow up hearing
a wee
it.
lass.
It's like those Cuban drum rhythms. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you do that? Yeah. You have to be born to it.
Yeah, my uncle showed me how. when I was 4.
Yeah. Right.
Oh man. Yeah, I had a little jig going with that one.
Yeah. Yeah, that song's a classic. And there's a bunch, so many bands do a version of that song, but I love the Dubliners version.
Yeah. I'm glad you're here representing the traditional Irish stuff, because all my stuff is like rock band stuff, except for one of my songs.
Yeah, I saw one of yours. But yeah, like Luke Kelly's got such a cool voice. And like I was saying during the video, you can cut this part out if you want. It like there are bands that are as Muppety looking as the Dubliners, but I
Uh-huh.
don't think there are any bands that are more Muppety looking.
Yeah.
Like especially at this time.
Well, I know I mentioned Kermit the Frog, but he's like green all over.
It's true.
Did you ever use the thing on St. Patrick's Day where like you got caught off calendar wise and somebody pinched you? Did you ever use the, well, I have green eyes?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Apparently that's not a thing in Ireland.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Yeah, all the things we associate with St. Patrick's Day are
The pinching?
yeah.
Yeah, that's more of like a Madrone or Binkley school playground tradition, I guess.
Well, no, I think it's universal in America of like pinching somebody when they're not wearing green on St. Patrick's Day, but
Yeah.
only in North America, I guess.
Well, and rightfully so. I mean, if you don't wear green and you don't celebrate St. Patrick's Day in one way or another, you probably do deserve to get pinched.
True.
Wear green.
You should just wear green all the time.
Yeah.
I've got my Shamrock underwear on right now.
Oh, really? Nice. Yeah, my eyes aren't green anymore for some reason. They were when I was a kid. But yeah, now they're kind of pale blue or gray like my hair.
Yeah, that's how Dad's were too. Yeah, mine are still green, like milky jade. I have to be careful every time I go to Chinatown, so David Lopan doesn't abduct me.
Oh man, that would be no good.
Right.
Speaking of troubles, that'd be big trouble.
Anyway, so how many ways can we not talk about the Dubliners?
Rocky Road to Dublin. So you want me to rate this one?
Sure.
I liked the jiggableness of it.
Mm-hmm.
Guy's voice is really good.
Yeah.
I love Irish fiddle. I know I'll never be able to play fiddle, but if I could play another instrument, it would be Irish fiddle. I do play a little bit of mandolin, and the mandolin I got is like a particular kind. It'll do Irish or bluegrassy. It's kind of like a in-betweener, because some mandolins are just pure bluegrass and some are just pure that Celtic sound,
Right.
The one I got happens to be able to do that Celtic thing, which I'm happy about.
Cool.
And mandolin is the same tuning as a fiddle, so it's kind of played the same way. Like the strings are the same. That's why it's a mandolin and not a mandola or mandocello. Yeah, that if the lin, that's like a certain tuning.
Mandocello sounds delicious.
I'll give that one like a 82.
Okay.
Yeah, I like the traditionalness of it. It just reminds me of growing up, on like Scottish games and sword dances and kilts. And yeah, I didn't do sword dances, but
no,
I watched the sword dances and looked up the kilts. No, just kidding.
Yeah, I love that song because like it kind of has all the things. I don't know, like the lyrics are just crazy. There's so much packed into that song. Yeah, and it's like they just cover so much ground. Like the I got a brand new pair of brogues to rattle over the bogs, frighten all the dogs. They talk about poachine. Had a drop of the pure something because that's the Patty's cure.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of like a smorgasbord of like traditional Irishisms.
Nice.
Yeah, I love that song.
It's a toe tapper for sure.
Yeah, I'll give it a 90. I love that song.
Cool. Yeah. Dubliners are cool.
Yeah, it's like whenever I do a trad playlist, it's like that one is always cream of the crop.
Nice.
Alrighty, next up.
Next up, we're going back to the Troubles. This is Stiff Little Fingers, Nobody's Hero. Nobody's Hero.
Very nice.
Stiff Little Fingers, they're like another punk era band that formed like in the height of the Troubles. They were out of Belfast, and they were mixed Catholic and Protestant. And like what I talked about with the undertones earlier, like there's two ways to like face trouble. And these
Right.
guys went the opposite direction. They were political, and all their songs were, well, most of their songs were political. They like leaned into it. They're a mixed band. They didn't choose sides, but they just, called out what they thought was like not right.
Right.
That song was from their album called Nobody's Hero that came out in 1980. I'll touch on that again later. But so that's like right in 1980, when I was first kind of starting to like be interested in like the punk stuff.
Right.
The other interesting thing about Stiff Little Fingers is they were like one of the first bands to like really break out that weren't on a major label. So they were like independent, and they recorded their first album or their first single themselves. And like Rough Trade Records kind of started from that. And so then like Rough Trade's records kind of blew up because everybody, wanted Stiff Little Fingers albums. So they were like one of the first bands, like the first punk bands to like really break independently.
Right.
So
that's cool.
Yeah, and another kind of interesting factoid about Stiff Little Fingers.
They were a band that I never got into, but I've been meaning to.
Yeah.
Like forever. Because like I knew after the Jam broke up, Bruce Foxton played with them.
Yeah, yeah.
And I could totally hear why. That it's like, oh yeah, the other guys want to play this like Blue Eyed Soul stuff. These guys still want to play what made us famous.
Right. Yeah, and that guy's singing voice.
Yeah.
I mean, how many punk bands rip that off now?
Oh, for sure. But yeah, I was going to talk about his voice, but it's like he's trying a bit hard with that rasp.
But it's the attitude,
Yeah, he's got the attitude, but it's like, I don't know. It's kind of like in our ska episode where
that's what I was thinking of with this. Yeah, with
Bad Manners.
Yeah, with Bad Manners. Yeah.
But it's like, oh, that's where that sound came from. Like,
yeah.
That was the thread.
Yeah, I was thinking of that when I picked this song out.
Yeah, so many bands, like so many punk singers try to sound like that guy.
Yeah.
But it's like, for me, it's like I can kind of tell that his voice, he's putting that voice on as well.
Yeah, he wouldn't speak like that during an interview or anything.
Yeah, or it's not like he's like, been drinking whiskey since he was like 6 years old, or like been punched in the mouth a bunch of times. Like,
Well, maybe.
because like,
It,
you
but
know, I
but to
don't know.
sing like that, it kind of hurts.
Yeah, no, I think it's because this is like one of their early hits. Like he probably sounds like that now in interviews from singing like that.
Yeah, maybe.
Or,
I don't know.
like 10 years after this song came out, he probably sounded, or maybe even 5 years. 5 years after this, that's what his voice sounded like.
He is pushing it, but it's like original. Like nobody was like singing like that before that. And even though it is affected a little bit, it's cool.
Yeah,
It adds to the song.
it's definitely cool. It's just, it's weird that it's like, it's a thing for me.
Yeah.
Like, we'll talk about this when we have a folk metal episode, but a friend of mine was like, "Oh yeah, I tried listening to Korpiklani, but like the guy does the harsh vocals." I was like, "What are you talking about? That's just the guy's voice. Like
Right.
he doesn't try to sound like that. He sounds like that."
Yeah. Gotcha.
So, yeah, when people are like putting on that harshness or that raspiness,
If he sang it in his natural voice, like the song wouldn't be as cool.
true.
Yeah. It's a thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah, you want to rate this one first?
Yeah, it totally sounded like early jam. Like, yeah, I love that early British punk kind of sound.
Yeah.
But like the stuff that had a little more to it. It wasn't like just like angry guitar noises like the Sex Pistols, or had a little more refinement. Yeah. So yeah, I'll give this an 85.
Okay. Yeah, I'll match your 85. Stiff Little Fingers, no pun intended, like really scratch an itch for me. When I want to like go back to my Rankin Valley Junior High School punker days.
Right. Yeah, and like I said, they were always a band that I wanted to get into and just haven't gotten around to yet.
Yeah. I think I had on our bedroom closet, I think I had Stiff Little Fingers, like the logo like done in Sharpie on our bedroom closet. The door that
Probably.
ended up in Mom's dark room in the garage.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So they were part of my pantheon of early punk interest.
Yeah, wasn't the Who was on there?
The Who, Black Flag,
Circle Jerks.
Circle Jerks, Stiff Little Fingers. I can't remember who else. I should have taken that door down when we
I know.
sold the house. Yeah. I'm sure Dad was totally pissed at me when I drew that on there. Yeah, well.
At least it was on the other side, so you didn't have to look at it all the time.
Right. Oh, man. All right. So that's Stiff Little Fingers.
Those guys were cool. I'm definitely going to listen to more of them.
Cool.
Yeah, so next up, if you're listening to this episode and you're like, seriously, guys, get out of the Stone Age. How about something new? Something that it was recorded after, 1985.
Right. Okay, boomer.
Exactly. We are decidedly not boomers.
No.
But yeah, this is a band that my friend Mario got me into a couple years ago.
Speaking of not being boomers, I think there was probably Generation X on that door also.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm a Gen Xer. FYI.
Well, yeah, I remember telling Mom that we were Generation X, and Mom saying, "Well, you're not Generation X because we weren't baby boomers." mom and dad were slightly too old to be baby boomers. And so they thought that it's like, well, no, it's actual generations. So like you're something else. And it's like, no,
Right.
that's not how it works, mom. And it was like it was the most Gen X conversation that ever happened. So it was like, we are Gen X, mom. You don't get it.
You don't get us, man.
So
Okay.
yeah, my friend Mario got me into these guys a couple years ago, and we just ended up seeing or I ended up seeing them for the first time back in May. These guys are a current band that is on tour. You could go see them live. This is Building Up and Tearing England Down by the Mary Wallopers.
That's a good one.
Right?
Yeah, it's more that storytelling. There's no ooh baby, yeah.
Right.
It's like so engaging.
Yeah, and it's like I've always loved songs like this, and then like over the last few years, really and learned to appreciate them even more. But it's like if you can't just sing while you're playing a guitar and carry everybody along with you, like should you really be in music?
Yeah, a good song should be able to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't need any features.
Yeah. Just like strip it down to the barest bones, especially on a song like that. It's like this band, they have a full band, and then like they play, about a half of their set. Then this guy comes out and sings a couple songs, just his guitar, and then like the
Oh,
rest of
cool.
the band comes on, and it's just like, man, if your heart's not broken by the time the rest of the band comes back out, like, yeah, you have no right going to a Mary Walloper show.
Oh man. Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah, that guy's got such a great voice.
Yeah. Do you remember our limerick period that we went through?
Yes. Unfortunately.
That's the last I'll speak of it. Yeah, that's a good one. That's like, yeah, I'll have to check them out because that guy's really got a thing, and I love the storytelling.
Mhm.
I would love to hear with the full band too. So yeah, that's definitely one I'm going to check out after the show.
Yeah, like I would have played like their kind of breakout song, but I don't know. It's not my favorite of their songs. It's really good,
Yeah.
but it's like if you've heard of the Mary Wallopers, you've heard this song. And so I wanted to play something else. Like Mario had been trying to get me into this band for a while, and I was like, yeah, okay. Yeah, they're good. And then we were on a road trip somewhere, and it was like, oh, they do trad. Oh, okay. Like, and now I have to like them. Like, it's one
Cool.
thing if Mario's telling me to like them. Yeah, they're definitely good, but they also do trad. All right,
Oh
it's
man.
chocolate and peanut butter at this point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're amazing.
Yeah. So for this one, just the guitar and voice telling a story. I'll give it like an 86. Yeah, I want to hear more of them.
Nice.
I like just guitar and voice, but I definitely want to check out what the full band brings to it too.
Yeah, they're a pretty funny band. I think it's a couple brothers. It might be two brothers and a sister. I'm not entirely sure what the lineup
Oh,
it is, but and then like a couple other people. So
well, maybe they'll pop up again when we do our Band of Brothers episode.
maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, check out the Mary Wallopers. They're fantastic. Yeah, I'll give it a 92, just because
Nice.
it's the bones. It's like it's a guitar and the guy singing, and that's just yeah. If you don't feel that like the duality of Irish history, that it's like all the oppression, and then like, well, but we did go to work in England, like we did pretend
Yeah.
that the troubles weren't happening sometimes. We did take the royal shilling every once in a while.
Yeah, it's kind of a more balanced view of history, but still
Yeah.
honoring it. Yeah.
Yeah, honoring all the guys who fell doing construction. Yeah, it's like you don't have to go to war to serve the crown. You can also drive an excavator.
Yeah.
Still the royal shilling.
It's funny how our songs kind of like lead into each other a little bit. Should I go ahead and kick off my next pick?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So this is like my one trad song on here.
Mhm.
Like I was wanting to learn bouzouki, which is like there's Greek bouzouki, and
Is that a sauce?
no, it's a stringed instrument.
Oh, okay. Because it sounds
And
delicious. I could really go for a hero right now.
if you could see on my wall here, I have like two bodhrans.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I have one hanging up there and one hanging up there. And I wanted to get into Irish bouzouki. And the way Irish bouzouki came about was this guy, Andy Irvine, had a Greek bouzouki and he gave it to somebody and they changed two of the strings on it to a different tuning. So it's kind of the same thing as a Greek bouzouki, just tuned different. But then they kind of changed the instrument a little bit and made it a little different to suit Irish music better. And so now Irish bouzouki is kind of its own thing. So I was kind of trying to like learn more about that instrument, and I came across this album, and you played a modern song, and now we're going back to like the early 70s or late 60s here with an album from Andy Irvine and Paul Brady. Yeah, this album's probably kind of famous for like they're part of that traditional revival kind of thing almost.
Mm-hmm.
So this next song, it's from the album Andy Irvine, Paul Brady, but this is Paul Brady singing Arthur McBride.
Wow, very nice.
Yeah, another storyteller song about conflict.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Taking the royal shilling.
Or not taking it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that song, man. The guitar work on that is just stellar.
Yeah, it sounds so warm and just like and perfect. Like,
yeah, it has all those Irish little flourishes and stuff.
Mhm.
And it's an open G tuning for other guitar nerds out there that know. Yeah, he was on tour in America and he came across that in like a Smithsonian book. Like an Irish guy had come to America and the Smithsonian like recorded that song down from like their early 1800s, I think.
Okay.
And there's also like a Scottish version that's really similar to it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just kind of a anti-crown kind of traditional theme thing, like not wanting to become a soldier.
Yeah, the Scots and the Irish both took it on the chin directly from England. Like they were the first to be colonized.
Yeah. The other thing I like about that song is it's anti-war, which is kind of my standing too, but it's not necessarily pacifist.
Right. It's not anti-violence. It's
right.
but it's not pro-war. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
So
about roughing somebody up to protect your own.
right. So yeah, I don't know. Great song. And he does like that, like he's the one that kind of reintroduced that song, and it kind of became his trademark.
Nice.
Like that whole album, Andy Irvine, Paul Brady, every song on there is great.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great recording too. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just
that
wonderful to
sounded
listen
phenomenal.
to. But like he recorded this song thinking, okay, well, I'll just lay this down, and then the other guys will come in and do their thing, and they're like, no, just leave it. What could we add to that?
Right.
Just leave it. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
Another guy with a guitar telling a story.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh man, I like that song a lot.
Yeah. And getting back to what you said about the like not necessarily anti-war, but defending your own. I love all the Irish songs that are about like giving the landlord what for. Like, when Mary handed me the blunderbuss from underneath her coat. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that
So
line in
good.
there, put the shillelagh across their heads and consider this fair warning or something like
Yeah.
that.
So good. Yeah. It's like, I don't necessarily condone violence, but some people kind of have it coming. And
So I have Baudrons here hanging here on the wall.
I have a shillelagh.
That's what I was going to ask you. Don't you have a shillelagh?
Yeah.
I think I need to get one of those too. Did they have a shillelagh on Ultimate Warrior?
I don't think so. There is like
a shillelagh would come in handy.
It's I never know how to pronounce it, the British Pathé or whatever. There's like that,
Oh, right.
yeah, the YouTube channel that shows all the historical British films and stuff. Oh man, there's some incredible Irish ones about, like porter, and like they'd have the one tap for the porter and then like the other tap that was just the foam to go on top.
Huh.
It's like a whole thing, and it was like the last place that still did like the traditional Irish pour, and this was like in the early '60s. So
Interesting.
it's like a bygone year. But there's one of those about this guy who makes blackthorn shillelaghs like by hand. He cuts them and then he like hangs them on the wall of his house to like age and dry out, and then he like shapes them and like sizes them for the customers and stuff. I don't know if you ever saw that video where it was the guy being interviewed because someone was stealing sheep, and it's supposed to be like the most incomprehensible Irish accent, but this shillelagh maker dude from like the early '60s, like,
even thicker, huh?
Shame. Yeah.
Oh man.
I only know what you're talking about because I've listened to the Dubliners my entire life. Like, I could get every other word because
I love that guy on Clarkson's farm. Yeah, the guy's his neighbor on Clarkson's farm.
Yeah, the stone fitter guy.
Yeah, you can never understand what he's saying.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy's hilarious.
Did you see any of the Olympics?
A little bit.
What was like the whole stick thing at the beginning of every event? Somebody would come out and like say something and like.
Oh, I don't know. I only saw the one where Snoop Dogg introduced the breakdancing.
Yeah.
And then
I guess that's something with the stick. I have no idea what that's about.
That's cool. I like ceremonial sticks.
Yeah. I think I'd rather have a shillelagh though than one of those French begin the meeting sticks.
True. Although, once you get outside of Paris, there are a lot of burly farm lads in France too. Like,
That's true. Yeah.
I don't
I don't
think
think
that
we're going to
every
do a French locality episode.
yeah, we could. They have a lot of amazing music.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I just wonder if there would be enough of it that I would like to do a France episode.
Well, I think a lot of the problem is like problem.
France's problem is this.
Let me tell you.
The problem with France.
No. Well, first of all, don't judge every Frenchman by Parisian stereotypes. Like, I know a lot. I know of several French rednecks, and like every like French baker I've ever known, like wasn't from Paris. It was like,
Yeah.
are you sure you're not a construction worker? Yeah, I know it's a thing where French radio is mandated to play a significant portion of native French
right.
music.
I think they had that in South Africa too.
Possibly.
Yeah.
But so it kind of like it's a double-edged sword that like those bands get like a lot more radio play than they normally would. But then it also makes it like sort of insular, that it's like you might be a huge French band in France, but you've never gotten any radio play outside of France because you really never had to.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, maybe I'll add that to the list and investigate that one a little bit.
Yeah, because I've had friends make me like mixtapes that had like really cool French songs on it, and it's like, oh wow, yeah, this is like really, it's like pop music, but like it's kind of its own thing. Yeah, it's like kind of arty, but like not in a lame way.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The French,
cool.
I guess the French wouldn't need shillelaghs because they have the ultimate martial art with savate.
That's true.
So what's our next song?
Oh boy. Well, we didn't rate
Oh, that's right, Arthur McBride.
Paul Brady. I'm going to give that a 96 because
yeah,
it's got all the things I like: story song, bare bones, human voice guitar. But it's like if it needed anything else, it would have it, and it doesn't need anything else. And then, like while we were listening to it, I just kept thinking, like when we do our country and western episode, like I'm going to talk about this, that it's like I really like hearing stuff that's new, that like, man, I could have listened to this with Grandpa Nobles.
Oh
And
yeah,
like Grandpa Nobles and I could have appreciated this on the same level.
yeah.
And so like I could imagine like you and me and Mom listening to Paul Brady and like all appreciating it on the same level.
Yeah, and it was from that time period too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what's this on the playlist is like an excellent live version. The album version is like perfection. I mean,
oh really?
Yeah, because it's a little more condensed. He's not like improvising. It's like laid down. It's like the ultimate version of it. The song.
Okay, that might detract from it from me. So I'll have to listen to that after we get off and compare and contrast. Because I liked
They're both great, but listen to the album version too, because it's like the version of it.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I'll give it a 96 also.
Cool.
I was going to give it a 96 anyways when you said 95, but I'll give it a 96 too. I'll match that.
I gave it an extra one for Mom.
Cool. Nice.
Alrighty, so the next song is one of my picks, and again, Irish singer, guitar, nothing else. And the last two were kind of sad, mournful, soulful songs. And this song is the Mount Everest of sad songs to me.
You know, I have a sad songs episode on the list, right?
I know, but
Okay.
that's going to be you because this is like the one of the only sad songs that I can listen to. So this is Tommy Makem, "The Wind That Shakes the Barley."
What a downer.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, if that song doesn't make you want to punch an Englishman really hard
Oh, man.
or get a time machine and a pike.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like one of those movies you watch and you're like, no, that person wasn't supposed to die.
Yeah.
That's a good song though.
Yeah, it's just there's no more hauntingly beautiful song. And it's just like it steamrolls me every single time.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Like I listened to it while I was putting the playlist together earlier today, and I cried then too.
It's like, do I have to listen to this again this afternoon?
Yeah,
it's
I
good
love
though.
it
I mean,
though.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like if you wonder why there's Irish rebellion and like Irish protest songs and
Well, it's one of
why
those
there
never
were
forget
Easter
kind of things.
uprisings and it's like this song encapsulates that. Just
So never mind. I was gonna shift gears with a terrible joke.
Yeah, no, feel free. That's what terrible jokes are for.
So the wind through the golden barley, is that like a do the carpets match the drapes kind of thing?
No. But I have used that as a metaphor for like other sad Irish songs.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, yeah, if that wind doesn't shake your barley, you don't have a soul.
Oh man. Yeah.
You know, like for the Mary Wallopers. Like
Yeah, and it's so visual because like I don't know, I just picture like you're out hiking and you like go through like a little patch of rattlesnake grass, you know? Like
mhm.
yeah, you can just like imagine the wind through the barley like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like it starts out with the green barley, like he's all happy. And then like
It's like a changing of the seasons kind of
yeah,
thing.
it's like because it's his crop. It's like his fields before harvest time. Tragedy came a knocking.
So that's got to be a traditional folk type tune, or
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Tommy Makem was he did a bunch of stuff with the Clancy brothers, and the Clancy brothers were American of Irish descent, and they were kind of fundamental. Like they went back to Ireland, and like I think they were already musicians, but they were fundamental in like revitalizing like the trad music scene. And Tommy Makem was there with them.
cool. Yeah, I'm looking at the album cover and I was thinking like Penny Whistle is kind of conspicuously absent on here. No. Yeah, we're not doing any Penny Whistle that I know of, and we're not doing Danny Boy.
The rest of his songs aren't that sad.
Okay.
Like I said, that's the Mount Everest of sad Irish songs. Like,
Yeah, I was looking at the album cover. I was like, how's he gonna jump into this with Penny Whistle?
yeah, it's like the expression on his face,
Yeah.
the little like QB doll pompadour thing going
Yeah.
on. It's like, yeah, he's so jaunty. How is this guy going to break my heart? Oh, yeah. So, did that wind shake your barley? Do you want to give it a rating?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't know. I'm typically not like a sad music kind of guy. There's some
Me
sad music
neither.
I like. I'll give it like a, I don't know, like a 73.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. For me, like, life is hard and depressing enough. You know, like, I don't know. Maybe
Well,
sometimes you can like look at it like, well, at least it's
it,
not that bad. But
yeah,
yeah,
that's part of it. Or it's like, yeah, I can relate to some of the themes
yeah,
in that song, and so it's yeah, I can appreciate it. Yeah, I'll give it a 78.
okay,
Yeah, because it is like, I mean, it's so bitter and sad that it's
yeah,
like it's kind of, I can't say that I like it, but it's like a really gnarly cheese, or like,
right.
it's not something you could eat all the time. It's like,
Yeah, it's pretty punctuated,
yeah,
like the the vibe of it.
yeah, keeping with the barley theme. It's like a really like heavily peated scotch, and it's like, are you going to drink that in a pint glass? No. But
No.
two fingers of it, you know,
Yeah,
when it's cold, and
yeah, that song is best for sipping.
there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good pick though.
Yeah, it's 3 minutes long. If it was 6 minutes, just
Oh
yeah,
man. Yeah.
we'd be sponsored by BetterHelp.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you suffer from depression, like, and you haven't listened to the playlist yet, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's only 3 minutes long.
should we give this a content warning?
Nah.
You may want to punch an Englishman. You may want to track down an English landlord. Give him what for?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely the saddest song on the playlist.
Yeah.
We're steering the plane up from the Andes with the
Maybe.
rest of the playlist.
Maybe.
Well, I
Well,
am.
yeah. This isn't as
And
much of a palate cleanser as I'm hankering for, but I guess it'll have to do since it's like next on the playlist.
well,
And
it's like kind of anything is a palate cleanser, but it was like,
that's true.
yeah, Mary Walliver's Paul Brady,
Yeah.
the wind that shakes the barley. It's like,
Yeah.
man,
So yeah,
it's like, if you when you edit this episode, if you could have that like dive bomber sound slowly building in the background.
oh man. Okay.
Okay.
So this next group, like, is it okay? We're moving into the honorable mentions at this point, correct?
Well, we don't have to rate them, but we can play them. We can play them, and I want to get your commentary on my two picks.
Okay.
And I do have stuff to say about you too.
Okay.
So yeah, this can be all honorable mentions.
Yeah. So my honorable mention, and I mean, it had to be on the list because this is probably like the biggest band to come out of Ireland. So this is U2, and the song is "I Will Follow." So I mentioned earlier during Stiff Little Fingers that Nobody's Hero album came out in 1980.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this this album, this is their first album, also came out in 1980.
Hmm.
Just like compare and contrast the sounds
Yeah.
of the two. Like when these guys came out, they were groundbreaking,
Yeah. Nobody else sounded like them.
especially like the Edge's guitar tones.
Yeah.
And Bono's singing. I mean, I know he became pretty unsufferable later on, but I mean,
Well,
come on.
he's pretty emo in this.
Yeah. And they're all like teenagers here, you know,
Oh
just
yeah.
so like unique and their own thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like nobody sounded like that. I know
Right.
like the dotted eighths guitar thing has become a trope and it's in everything now. And, you know, in like worship music, like that's an acceptable guitar tone, you know?
But because of the Edge, like,
Right. I mean, to come
yeah,
up with that.
yeah, yeah. Like I remember, like two of the things I wanted to talk about with U2 is like I laughed to myself with the like walk away, I will follow. And it's like
Uh-huh.
I had an iPod and I was using iTunes when they like forced that U2 album on me. And it
Uh-huh.
was like, now I have to take it off. Like it bumped other stuff off my iPod that I had to like
Oh man.
reinstall. And it was like,
Yeah, why?
I'm trying to walk away from you. Please stop following me, Bono. I remember before that listening to this album, like I think their first 2 or 3 albums, and listening to them at work. And I used to work for the post office, and I was always striving to find something that would like fit working at the post office. And up until Amazon, AC/DC was like the best fit.
Yeah.
That it's like you want something that's driving, that's going to keep you awake, that you don't have to really think about too much. AC/DC was perfect for that.
AC/DC is perfect for a lot of things.
True.
Yeah.
But so listening to the delivering mail and listening to the first couple U2 albums, it was like, no, this does not fit. I can't just be like delivering people's gas bills and stuff. Like I need to be making the world a better place.
Yeah.
Like those songs are just like so enormous and like so powerful and moving that it's like, yeah, there's all this suffering and like bad stuff going on. Like I need to leave the world a better place. Like I need to be like digging wells somewhere, or like this, like I need to be doing something more important than what I'm doing right now because these songs are important.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah. And then like the third thing was directly to that guitar tone. I remember seeing It Might Get Loud with another guitar player friend of mine.
Uh-huh.
Or no, I think we were just talking about it. I don't think I saw it with him. But he was like, "Oh yeah, like the Edge was never really a guitar player." And I'm like, "No, he just used the guitar differently than like all the people
Right.
that you like." And he's like, "Yes, he's just playing like two notes there. Like that's not playing guitar." And I'm
Exactly.
like all the songs after that like kind of sounded like that.
Yeah. Well,
Like that
yeah,
guy
it
broke
was,
ground, man. And yeah.
I mean, like I'd been playing guitar for a little while, like before that came out, but like that was something I played all the time was that song, you know, just that riff.
Hmm.
And it's just like, how can you break it down? You know, like how can you just get elemental about what music is?
Right.
And like to put it in a timeline context. So I would have been in eighth grade, 13 years old when this came out. And like I used to call the local radio station.
Hmm.
And like I had 3 songs I always requested them to play. Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Welcome Back, My Friends. Pat Travers, Boom Boom, Out Go the Lights.
Mhm.
And U2, I Will Follow. So I was home one day and they were giving away tickets to go see U2 on their first tour. They were playing the Stone. And I called in because I knew the number by heart. They said,
Mhm.
when you hear U2 played, call in and you can win tickets to go see them.
Nice.
I called in, I won the tickets. So I had 2 tickets in my hot little 13-year-old hands to go see U2, like first album, first tour. And I'm not going to apologize for being somebody who was like into somebody before they were cool,
Right.
because I was into these guys before they were cool.
It doesn't make you a hipster.
Nobody else called in is probably why I won the tickets. So I'm 13 though, and it's in San Francisco. I'm like, Mom, this band is from Ireland. We really love them, like, that album we play all the time of Cena's, and like, can you take me to go see them? I won free tickets. And it was a school night.
Oh,
So it was a no-go. One of my big regrets. I mean, I'm not the biggest U2 fan in the world. I like, when they got to like Joshua Tree and Unforgettable Fire, I was
yeah.
like checked out by then.
Oh, 100%.
But like
when
those first
when they
couple
stopped
albums,
being an Irish band.
right? Yeah. But it's like that's one of my kind of regrets is like, man, because that would have been an amazing concert too.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, school night.
Sad.
Yeah. So we won't rate that one, but yeah, U2's cool.
If you have a chance to go see a band on a school night, go see them. Like,
there's nothing you regret. Yeah, there's nothing I regret it to this day. There's nothing I regret missing in school.
right.
Yeah. Well, that I know of.
Yeah. How does that work? I don't regret not knowing what I don't know. Yeah, like I saw Valiant Thor on a Monday night. It was one of them. Like there were 50 people there.
Yeah.
It was one of the most incredible shows I've ever seen because it was like
support artists that you like. Don't wait till Friday or Saturday or Sunday.
It's like
if they're coming to your town, get out there and call in sick to work the next day.
Yeah.
Make some excuse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or just suffer through the next day at work.
Yeah.
It's worth it. Totally
it's worth it. Yeah. I'm going to see Savage Master tomorrow night.
Oh, sweet.
Tuesday.
Oh, is it too soon to jump into what's going to be happening next month with like the next episodes? Should we give a spoiler? Or, I mean, you mentioned Savage Master.
We can wait until.
Okay, we'll wait till the end.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. There's a special surprise coming.
Yeah, or spoilers if you know who Savage Master is.
Yeah.
Okay. Getting back on track. I couldn't just have one song by the Dubliners on the playlist.
Yeah.
And because they're so fundamental to that, like the trad revival. So yeah, and then it's like, okay, yeah, is it a little cliched? Yeah, put a Dubliners drinking song on the playlist.
Have we had any drinking songs yet?
No, was the only one.
We'll go for honorable mention, throw one in there. Cliche or no.
And so this is one of my favorite drinking songs. And it's kind of along the lines of The Parting Glass. And there were attempts at speaking Irish earlier in the episode. So now this is going to be my attempt as I attempt to say the name of this song. So this is the Dubliners, Prab Sanal.
My name is Eric. It's been 32 years, 4 months, and 10 days since my last drink.
My name is Clark, and I am currently drinking a Guinness for strength.
For strength. Yeah, I quit drinking on my 25th birthday.
Dang.
Yeah. Irish music is funner, though, with like a little buzz on.
It doesn't hurt. You can enjoy it without it.
Yeah, it's still enjoyable even without, but it's even more enjoyable with.
Yeah. I was going to say earlier, like the two Dubliner songs, even though the Dubliners are definitely the more trad tracks on the list, they're not like it. These two samples are are pretty limited. The point I'm trying to make is that we grew up listening to like Celtic music, and I remember hearing the Dubliners when I was a kid, and
the Chieftains.
Yeah, the Chieftains. Chieftains almost made it on the list. But the first time I started really listening to trad Irish music as an adult, I felt like that scene in The Jerk where he first hears like swing big band kind of music on the radio, and like he just is able to snap his fingers along with the beat, and he's like, Mama, look, I'm doing it. And it's like I never really felt like I had any kind of rhythm, like just tragically white. But it's only because like not a whole lot of other genres of music have reels or jigs or turns out that's all I needed to feel like I fit in.
Nice.
It's like, oh, I understand these rhythms.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So that's one of your honorable mentions?
Yeah, just because I love the way like they sing in English and in Irish.
Yeah,
yeah, it's cool.
How cool would it be to be able to speak Irish like that?
Oh man, it's rad. I guess there's a couple places that are like there's like a town that like really like fosters speaking Irish. Like all their signs are in Irish, and they're really trying to like maintain it over there in Ireland. And for years it was discouraged by the English. So
yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I had another honorable mention, but I didn't include it in the playlist.
Do you want to add it in now?
Well, we can just talk about it. My other honorable mention, there's probably some people yelling at their MP3 players or whatever they listen to us on that we haven't mentioned Rory Gallagher. But
yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm putting Rory Gallagher, the song Shin Kicker, as an honorable mention. I'm just mentioning it because we'll do a whole episode on Rory Gallagher.
Yeah. Tattooed Lady was on the list, and then I was like, oh yeah, no, we're gonna do a whole Rory Gallagher podcast. Like he gets his own podcast.
He's gonna be covered. Don't worry about it.
Yes. Yeah. So if you're one of the few, the proud, the Rory Gallagher fans, if you're privileged enough to know who that guy is, we'll dedicate an entire episode to him.
Yeah, the reason I put Shin Kicker as my honorable mention here was just to give Rory a shout out, but also because have this long-term project of fixing up a Triumph T110 Tiger. It's a 47 frame with a 54 pre-unit motor in it. And when the bike's all done, I'm going to name it Shin Kicker.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's how much I like Rory Gallagher. That's my honorable mention.
Nice.
My second one. Did you have a second one also?
Yeah, well, my Rory Gallagher pick was Tattooed Lady, because I love the line about how, like, I forget exactly what it is, but it's something about, like, he was never in for schooling. Like, he never dug that school bell sound.
Oh, man. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, Rory's great.
Yeah, like, nobody that plays like that kind of bluesy rock has that phrasing. Like, his phrasing is just delicious. Like,
Yeah,
the way
yeah.
he crafts a lyric together.
It's that Irish storyteller thing again.
Yeah, chef kiss. Yeah, but
Yeah.
coupled with, like, blues rock, like,
Oh, yeah.
it's great. It's a
Yeah, we'll
feast.
cover him and his band. Just, oh, man, dynamite.
Yeah, so this one, if we could include the song, would also give us a what is it? Obscene rating.
Oh, the rating? Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking, oh, man,
For
because of
language.
Pete Townsend's Abby Hoffman incident, we're going to have to put an explicit on here. But luckily, that's in the playlist and not in the podcast. So, yeah.
Yeah, so
we're good.
This song would give us an explicit, this next one. Yeah, so this song, another more recent, and this song's probably over 10 years old at this point. But, it's not from the 70s or 60s, like some of the other songs on here. And it came out at a time of my life when I was being made to feel pretty rotten about my life. Like, I didn't really feel rotten about my life, but I was like,
you were told that you should feel rotten.
Yes. And
yeah, that's always nice.
Yeah, and so this song came out, and it's like, it was perfect for me at the time. Yeah, just the defiance and the, like, yeah, I don't care. So this is the Rubber Bandits, Horse Outside. Yeah.
Yeah, you two got me halfway there on the palate cleanser from the Wind in the Barley song. That one took me the rest of the way. That's a good way to close out.
Yeah, we didn't want to leave it on the saddest song ever.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, so two things about that song. It's a personal one, and then, like, in general. So, like I said, it came out at a time when I was, like, being made to feel pretty crappy about myself, even though I didn't feel crappy about myself. And I just loved that, like, he's the awkward guy, and he's like, Look, you can have the coolest car, but I've got a horse." Because, like,
Yeah.
I was dating for the first time in, like, 15 years, and I drove a gold Toyota Corolla. It wasn't even really gold, it was beige. I drove a beige Toyota Corolla, basically the car that the guy drives in Office Space. I drove that exact car. And it was like, "Oh, man, like, okay." Like, pretty much everybody drives a cooler car than me, and it was like, "No, that Toyota Corolla, that's my horse outside." But it's like, it doesn't matter.
Nice.
And so, I love that song because it's like the awkward, formless, weirdo guy gets the pretty girl despite not having a cool car, just because he's got the right attitude.
Right. Yeah, it's cool.
And so that ended up being the case. I got the pretty girl, even being an awkward Gormless guy.
Nice.
And she was the one that had the tricked out Subaru.
That's right. Oh,
So it was like a double whammy.
yeah.
Yeah. And so there was some fake controversy when that song came out because like County Cork is like way down in the south and west of Ireland, and Dublin's all the way on the other side. Like all the bigger cities are on the other side of the island, and so it kind of has this reputation of being like a backwater hillbilly kind of place. And so people were upset because they're like, oh, they're like making fun of people from Cork, like that they're all a bunch of like backwards hooligans and don't
Yeah.
have cars and ride horses and stuff. And it's like,
No, it's the
no, that's
opposite of that.
yeah, that's where they're from, and you're missing the whole point of that song. They're
Right.
not making fun of it. That's where they're from. They're proud of it. Like,
Well, as someone who lives in the middle of nowhere, like on the outskirts of the middle of nowhere,
Mhm.
and who gave Cowboy Song a 98. Yeah, I would kind of love to have a horse. I'm like
this
serious.
is
I've
another
seriously
song of
been thinking about it.
right.
You know, like I ride little dirt bikes around and stuff to like go get the mail and stuff, but I don't know. I seriously contemplate like from time to time, why don't I have a horse? So that song kind of hits home.
Yeah, I mean, you have the room for it, and there was someone
I'm surrounded by horses, just none of them are mine.
right,
Yeah.
and, I forget who this quote is from, but it was, "The best thing for the inside of a man is the outside of a horse," but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just like horses are so intrinsic to human culture and, like
Oh, yeah, totally.
yeah, and then it's just like, yeah, you look at a big, beautiful horse, it's, like,
Yeah, I
majestic.
remember I went to work one day and I was supposed to go check out like this new watering trough that this rancher had put in,
Mhm.
like inspect it and stuff. And
I love this story.
I got there and his side by side, like four-wheeler thing was out of gas. And I was wearing my cowboy boots and he was like, well, should we just take the horses? It was like, yeah, let's do that. And this guy was like this old, like Okie from Oklahoma, and just this cool old guy. And he had the coolest accent and like just told the coolest stories.
Mhm.
Yeah. So he put me on his wife's horse, which was like a Missouri Walker. So like
Mhm.
they don't gallop, they just like run like without galloping.
Right.
And it was one of those days where you're like, I can't believe I'm getting paid right now.
Right.
Just riding with this old cowboy on these horses and just like, yeah, it's like best day of work ever.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. Horses are cool. All right. Is that it for honorable mentions?
Yeah. So, in honor of the Tri-Channel, we've just listened to an Irish music playlist. What did you think overall?
Try it. Let us know what you think. Yeah, that was an interesting one because, like, I don't listen to that music all the time, but yeah, after today, I'm wondering why I don't listen to it all the time.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna listen to more Stiff Little Fingers. Those guys are cool.
Yeah, and they're like not as well known as like a lot of the punk bands that get named all the time.
Yeah.
Well, we hope you enjoyed that one. And
Yeah.
usually we announce like what our next episode is going to be. But I think we're just going to like let the cat out of the bag and tell you guys that
Yeah.
September is going to be Metal Month. So we always tease that, like, well, we're kind of metalheads, but we're into this other music too. You know, we don't want to be a tease about it and like, oh yeah, we love metal too. But what do you think about country western? You know, no,
Right.
we're going to jump into it and we're going to give you a full month of metal. So, should I give them the rundown?
Well, they need to flex their fingers so they can get ready to
Oh yeah, do the
show us
Ronnie
their
James,
horns.
do the Ronnie James Dio, grandma warding off the evil eye symbol.
Yep.
Okay,
Show us your horns.
yeah, we're going to start off next week with proto metal. Where did metal start? Where did it begin? The origins. So it'll be origins of metal. And then we're going to do classic metal. And then we'll do thrash metal. And then the last week, Clark will be introducing us to trad metal.
Yep.
Yeah. So what was the band you mentioned earlier that you're going to be going to see?
Yeah. Tomorrow night, I'm going to see Savage Master.
Sweet.
They're gonna be. If you've never heard them, listen to them.
So hopefully we'll share some new bands that you haven't heard of, but I'm sure we're going to be covering like a lot of classics and stuff everybody already knows.
Right.
But yeah, it'll be like our other episodes, except we're going to do a whole month of metal for September.
Except it'll just be one entire episode where we talk about Holy Diver and nothing else.
Yeah. Well, we'll see about that one, but
No.
We won't just put Holy Diver on a 10-hour loop.
Yeah, we'll probably talk about Rainbow in the Dark at the end. Or Heaven and Hell.
And how it led to Holy Diver.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, we hope everybody enjoyed this Ireland episode. And you know, this was bands from Ireland. We might revisit the Ireland thing with just Irish music.
Right.
You know, include some bands from here in the States and other places that play that type of music. Did you want to give any honorable mentions, shout outs to some of those groups?
Well, we'll cover them in like a St. Patrick's Day episode. We'll talk about Dropkick Murphys and Floggy Molly and the Tossers and
some
of those other bands. But
and Lucky Old Bones. Give a shout out to our super fan Billy.
Yep. And my other shout out isn't a band, but do a Google search for Celtic Trad Radio. It's a website, like a web radio station out of Canada. And if you need a playlist or like a soundtrack for like cooking, doing your homework, or
making soda bread,
or cleaning your room,
planting potatoes,
or drinking Guinness. If you want something in the background when you have your mates over for a crack, put on Celtic Trad Radio, 24 hours a day.
Cool. I'm gonna go Google shillelaghs.
I'm gonna go blow the cobwebs off of my shillelagh.
Nice.
It's not a euphemism.
All right. Have a great week, everybody. And we'll see you next month with Origins of Metal. All right. Bye.
Yes. Bye.
Checking out music with my bro. Will it dig it? Yes or no? Here we go.